pretty.
Good. You've hit on me. We can get it out of the way that I am not interested.
Great. Let's talk more about this mind-numbing nonsense. Oh, wait a minute. I've got a better idea. Let's not.
The moment Meghan Markle reclaimed Hollywood, brushed off the royal drama, and declared herself a leading actress once again. But instead, Hollywood insiders are calling it a meltdown, a PR catastrophe, and in the words of one studio exec, the most chaotic set incident of the year.
Meghan Markle is giving show business a second look. On Wednesday, November 5th, multiple outlets confirmed that the Duchess of Sussex is returning to acting after she was spotted on set.
Acting comeback has officially detonated, and the deleted scene that leaked? It's uglier than anyone expected. The industry is buzzing, directors whispering in private meetings, producers pacing nervously, casting agents quietly updating their do not touch lists, because the footage, the one Meghan allegedly demanded be scrubbed, burned, erased from every server, is now sitting in inboxes across Los Angeles. And from the moment the clip hit the underground Hollywood circuit, everything spiraled. According to the insiders who saw it, the now-deleted scene wasn't just unflattering, it was a full-blown on-camera moment where Meghan lost control. Not in a dramatic, Oscar-worthy way, but in a "this will ruin your brand for a decade" way. And what triggered it? A line. One single line. A simple piece of dialogue Meghan apparently hated so much that she stopped the entire production, marched off script, and unleashed such a long tirade that crew members actually stopped rolling because they weren't sure if they were filming a meltdown or witnessing the early stages of an HR investigation. But before we dive into the deleted scene, the one already being described as Hollywood's worst-kept secret, let's rewind the tape a little. Because Meghan's acting comeback didn't begin with excitement. It began with suspicion, and a whole lot of side-eye from people who remember the last time she walked off a set.
Sometimes you wonder if this calamitous woman ever does anything right. Meanwhile, over on the Christmas special of Netflix's dreadful cooking dirge with Love Meghan, the self-styled domestic goddess is busy.
Meghan's team pitched this comeback as a powerful reintroduction, a role written to make her look strong, smart, and, in their words, emotionally resonant with modern women. But insiders claim the studio quickly learned that modern women apparently meant Meghan approves the script, Meghan rewrites the scenes, Meghan changes the shots, Meghan selects the camera angles, Meghan negotiates the lighting, and Meghan refuses to be portrayed as anything other than inspiring. One producer put it this way: "You weren't directing Meghan. Meghan was directing you." That's the kind of energy she walked in with. And the cast? They felt it immediately. Character more heroic, more glamorous, more misunderstood by the world. Even the writers felt it. One insider said, by the third rewrite, it wasn't a script anymore. It was a shrine. Still, the studio pushed forward. Because no matter how divisive Meghan is, she brings eyeballs, she brings headlines, she brings social media thunder. At least she used to. The one moment Meghan didn't see coming. The scene that would eventually blow the entire production sky high. It was a dramatic confrontation between Meghan's character and another lead. A moment designed to show vulnerability and depth. And the original line? Totally harmless. Almost sweet. But the second Meghan saw it, she froze. She stared, then asked, calmly at first, "Why am I saying this?" According to multiple sources, the director tried to move on, explaining that the line was essential for the emotional arc. But Meghan wasn't having it. She thought the line made her character look weak, an insider shared. She demanded it be changed on the spot. The director refused. That was the moment everything cracked.
So it's come to this. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is returning to acting. Reports are already coming in as to how this is already backfiring.
The kind of silence where everyone pretends to be checking their microphones even though they're really thinking, "Oh God, here we go." And then Meghan snapped, not a quiet disagreement, not a diva comment, no, a full-fledged red-faced, voice-shaking explosion. According to multiple sources, she accused the writers of sabotage, the director of undermining her authenticity, and the studio of weaponizing her vulnerability. She claimed the script was a trap. She said she would not be portrayed this way ever again. And here's where it gets wild. She demanded the entire scene be rewritten immediately, in front of the entire cast and crew. Not later, not after lunch, not in notes, right then, there.
Now she's going to be playing a film. Reports are it's all over the place. This seems pretty legit. Deadline, pretty good, Hollywood Trade.
Watching via remote feed, allegedly texted someone, "Is this a bit? Is she acting? What's going on?" But it wasn't a bit. This was real. The cameras were still rolling when she blew up, and that footage, the meltdown itself, is the part she allegedly begged the studio to delete. And they did, or so she thought. Here's the part that's sending shockwaves across Hollywood. The scene did get deleted from the official servers, but not before someone clipped it, saved it, and forwarded it to a small circle of trusted industry colleagues. Well, that trusted circle was apparently not all that trustworthy. Onto private industry telegram groups, directors' text threads, and those underground Hollywood gossip chains where scandals go to ferment before they explode. Every major studio in LA has heard about it. Some execs have seen it, others have screenshot still frames. Everyone is whispering. And according to multiple insiders, the clip is damning. Not career-ending on its own, but reputation-shredding. Brand-destroying. The exact opposite of the comeback Meghan wanted. One producer said, "If that clip ever gets out publicly, it's over. The comeback dies before it even airs." After the meltdown, Meghan reportedly refused to film anything for the rest of the day. She left the set furious, shaken, convinced she'd been wronged. Her team went into immediate crisis mode. Writers were pulled into last-minute revision overnight. Directors were summoned to discuss sensitivities. Producers were warned to be strategic in their language. Some crew members, sources say, began requesting to move to other productions. One even walked off permanently. And then came the real shock. The studio halted production to reassess workflow. Translation? They wanted to figure out whether keeping Meghan was worth the chaos. And just when things couldn't get worse, that was when the deleted scene leaked. The comeback wasn't just derailed, it was blown apart. The moment the deleted scene started circulating behind closed doors, Meghan's entire comeback campaign began crumbling like a sandcastle in a hurricane. At first, the studio tried to play it cool. They issued soft denials, whispered that creative differences are normal, and insisted production was simply taking a scheduled recalibration break. Yeah, sure, Hollywood bought none of it, because once a meltdown clip escapes a secure internal server, it's over. Within hours, the footage wasn't just being passed privately, it was being dissected, paused, zoomed in on, sent to directors, producers, casting execs, talent managers. Everyone suddenly had an opinion about Meghan, and none of them were gentle. One director apparently responded to the clip with a single line, "Nope, not touching that vortex." Another wrote, "Why is she fighting the script like the script insulted her ancestors?" But the worst came from a major studio exec, someone who had once considered negotiating a deal with Meghan. This is why we say, cameras don't lie. She showed us who she really is, and now the whole town knows.
Writer who did the interview noted an interesting protocol. Meghan's staff announced her as Duchess of Sussex when she entered, even though no one else was in the room. As for Harry, Meg says, quote,
Specialist known for fixing celebrity reputations was seen rushing into Meghan's Montecito home. The same guy studios call when actors punch photographers or get caught screaming on set. He reportedly told her team the truth they didn't want to hear. "We can't bury this. Someone wants this out." That line alone sent chills through her camp, because if someone wanted it out, that meant betrayal. Someone on the inside, someone with access, someone she trusted, and Meghan hates, absolutely despises the idea of being outplayed. Her team immediately began hunting for the leak, pulling server logs, questioning staff, even threatening legal action in private messages. But while they were busy chasing shadows, Hollywood was already moving on to the part Meghan feared most. At CAA, agents started murmuring about how volatile she seemed. At WME, coordinators whispered that she was impossible to direct. At Netflix's offices in LA, one showrunner joked, "She wants to run the set? Then let her fund the show herself." By the next morning, half the industry had formed an opinion based not on the comeback project, but on the clip. Meghan had spent 5 years trying to craft an image of professionalism, elegance, empowerment, calmness, and poise. And in 2 minutes of chaotic footage, one bad moment erased it. Worst of all, the clip wasn't even the most damaging part. The conversations around it were. Because now, people were asking questions she couldn't afford to trend. Is she difficult? Is she unstable? Does she sabotage her own projects? Why does drama follow her everywhere? For an actress re-entering Hollywood, the rumor mill is far more destructive than any video. The whispers become narratives. Narratives become cautionary tales. And cautionary tales become casting blacklists. 2 days into the chaos, the studio behind Meghan's comeback hosted an emergency summit, glass-walled conference room, 12 executives, 3 lawyers, and a PR rep who looked like they'd been awake for 40 hours. They had one agenda item: what do we do about Meghan? Some argued they needed to recast. Others warned that firing her would turn the public against the studio. A smaller, quieter group argued they should scrap the entire project, cut losses, walk away. And then someone said what everyone was thinking, but no one wanted to voice aloud. If she melts down like this in episode 1, what's she going to do by episode 6? Silence. Awkward, loaded silence. By the end of the meeting, nothing was decided, publicly at least. But privately, multiple insiders say the studio began drafting alternative strategies, and none of those strategies looked good for Meghan. Just as Meghan's team began preparing their carefully packaged comeback statement, an emotional, self-reflective, "I stand for creative integrity" speech, something else dropped into the rumor pool. Something bigger, something uglier, something that made the meltdown look like a warm-up. Remember the crew member who quietly left the production during the meltdown day? Well, word is, that person didn't just walk away. They walked straight into a meeting with another studio and told them everything. That studio passed it on to someone else. Then someone else passed it to a reporter they owed a favor. And suddenly, tabloids began sniffing around. Not about the deleted footage. No, worse. They were asking about Meghan's behavior during the first week of filming, asking if she shut down scenes, asking if she threatened to walk, asking if she refused direction from male staff, asking if she rewrote emotional beats to avoid vulnerability. All the things the studio had desperately tried to keep quiet were now shimmering just below the surface of the press, ready to erupt. Meghan's team scrambled, of course. Lawyers drafted warnings. Publicists drafted counterstatements. Assistants began prepping damage control press tours. But none of it mattered, because while they were planning to spin the story was already spinning without them. Sources say Meghan, furious and humiliated, insisted on taking control of the crisis herself. She told her team in a long, heated call that she wanted to address the rumors directly, not with a soft interview, not with a polished statement. No, she wanted a video, a personal message filmed from her home office, raw, emotional, defiant, authentic. Her team begged her not to, warned her emotions were too high, told her the internet was already sharpening its knives. She didn't care. She wanted to set the record straight. She wanted to tell her truth. She wanted to shut this down once and for all. She turned on the camera, she hit record, and, well, let's just say the reaction wasn't what she hoped. Now, she is back in square one.